What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Zcash today. The purpose of this video is less so technical analysis, though we are probably going to do a good bit of that. And it's more so just this kind of message I want to give you right now is that if you're a Zcash holder, that's fine, okay? But prepare yourselves for the weeks to come, because what's going to happen is going to be a complete 180 compared to what you've been used to since really since August. Okay, I've had this theory. I had it way back here, and we talked about it even up here, and we'll talk about it now. That when Zcash sells off, that's when we will get alt season. That's when, mark my words, Zcash will sell off and altcoins will rally. Where altcoins were dumping as Zcash was pumping, now altcoins will rally as Zcash dumps. And you've been consolidating now for about a week. You're about to get that final push down. It's going to seem like you're in a twilight zone because you're going to be looking at the rest of the market and everything else is going up, but Zcash is going down. It's not going to make sense. This isn't what happens. Not my coin, not what I voted for. Mark my words, that's what's happening. This is a PSA telling you guys this drop is not over. There's likely more to go. And first and foremost, it is completely possible that I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. I'll be wrong again. We did find support right at the 236. Technically, Technically, we were just above it. Just above it. There's a little gap. You can see the little gap, right? That little gap-a-roo right there. But that's good enough. You know, that is support off the 236. That could hold. That could be it. I mean, after all, from a high to a low, you have dropped about 60%. That's a pretty standard drop in these crypto markets, and I hope I'm wrong. I hope this thing rallies. But another thing that's pretty standard in the crypto markets is that nothing moves up in a straight line forever. Even in these crazy moves like this, nothing moves up in a straight line forever. You typically consolidate for a while, right? You had a massive, absolutely extraordinary move in your first cycle, all the way back here, right? Absolutely extraordinary. It was fantastic. It was basically what you just saw here, but from a lower point to a point here, from a higher point to a point here. It's basically the same move. This was faster. This is pretty damn dramatic though, and pretty spectacular. Even here from June until, I mean, really, maybe you broke out of it here. June until November, you were consolidating. You didn't really technically break out until December, right? It's going to be time. There will be ups, there will be downs, there will be all-arounds, but you're going to consolidate for months. This is your third week of consolidating. You've got more to go, okay? Likely more to go. And even then, that doesn't guarantee after you break out that you have the same results as last time. Maybe they're lesser. Maybe. You never know. And I do suspect that Zcash will return. I do suspect we will see higher highs. I do suspect we'll see anything from a $2,500 to a $10,000 price by the end of the cycle. I do very much have faith that Zcash has more to go. But for the time being, it will consolidate. I want to look at the short-term stuff. I started off on a kind of bearish note for Zcash. I'm kind of curious if the short-term will say the opposite. What if we move up a little bit and then we move down? That would be kind of interesting. I want to look at the 1 hour time frame and then zoom out from there, okay? Looking at the 1 hour here, we do have higher lows, which is nice. From a low point here to a high point there, you're right at your, oh, come on now. Come on, there we go. Right at your golden ratio. Beautiful. Typically, if you find support in your golden ratio and you're going to move higher, what you see is you find support there and you build, you get higher lows, higher highs, you build, and then you move up higher. Typically what you don't see when you find support of the golden ratio and you move higher, what's more typical of finding support here and then going lower is that you find resistance at the 0.5, that you really struggle getting above the 0.5. Sometimes you even get above the 0.5, but you don't really get above the 382. Typically, in this golden ratio bounce, you get to the 0.5, to the 382, or somewhere in between. You find resistance here, and then you progress lower to the 786, 886, or worse. If we can push higher from here, that does not absolve you of going lower. And the fact that we have disrespected this golden ratio zone so much. Yes, we are holding support in this area, but we really are disrespecting it. And because we are finding direct resistance here at the 0.5 and prior points of support here and support here, this makes me think that Zcash is in a bear flag. statistically speaking, from a Fibonacci perspective, the idea would be now that we go down to the 786, 886. That is $322 to about $311. And maybe we drop there, find some support, continue to drop, whatever. But on a pattern perspective alone, just on a sheer pattern perspective, which this looks like a bear flag to me, doesn't it? It looks like, it looks like a bear flag because it looks like that Canadian hockey stick of death. That's what it is. It looks like a hockey stick, right? You got your hockey stick here, and you got your, I don't know, the slapping part right there. It's your bear flag. It's 100% a bear flag. There's zero doubt in my mind that it is. And if you break out to the downside, that measure move would take you below $300. Now, this is a big deal, okay? We'll go over why this is a big deal. I'll leave this here because it is a big deal, but I want to look at the indicators first. Rejecting the 60, overall bearish on the RSI at the moment, I would say so, right? That was kind of a nice volatile moment, but you are bearish at the moment. Stochastics are bearish, and the MACD as well is at the zero, a perfect area to, what's the word I'm looking for? Reject. I was going to say resist, but reject. You even have lower highs on your MACD while building higher highs on your price. You have bearish divergence, and you're at a point to reject. You're probably going to reject, man. 4-hour time frame. You look at the RSI here, and we did build some higher highs in the RSI. Look, we got to a high point we haven't seen since back here on November 19th, which is also coincidentally around our high points in price. We got to the same levels here, but we have a dramatically lower high. You're getting higher highs in the RSI with lower highs overall. That's hidden bearish divergence. And, I mean, this lower high is pretty uniform compared to what we've seen before already. From a high to a low, I'm just kind of curious how much of a retrace did we get here, high to low. Got above the 236. I will admit, it's kind of weird that you got above the 236 here and you didn't hit the 382. Oftentimes, if you get above the 236, you almost always hit that 382 before going lower. But for whatever reason, I've noticed this, okay? Hear me out. Let me see how I would do this. So from a low to a high, right? Here, we're measuring the fib. We took the high to the low. If we took a move that was low to high, it's more common if you break this 236 that you would at least hit the 382 before you rally. Does that make sense? Then you rally. We're on the opposite here. We're not moving up. We're moving down, right? We're moving up from the overall move down. I've seen this where you break through the 236 and then you come back down without hitting the 382. That is more common in downwards moves than upwards moves. I don't know why, but it's an observation I've made. And ever since I've made that observation, probably about a year ago, we've noticed this happen more often than not with the downside moves. Again, statistically speaking, from a fib perspective, if you break above the 236, you are most likely going to at least hit the 382 before going lower. So what we're doing here is a statistical improbability, but because it is shifted to the downside, it is more probable. This less probable outcome is more probable. Does that make more sense? This makes more sense. All I'm trying to say is I doubt that we have a prophecy up here, an obligation to go here before we go lower, okay? And that actually ties in perfectly to what I think about this bear flag move, because you see that bear flag measure move there, right? Right there, that bear flag measure move takes us again just below $300, 281. That's a big deal. I said that was a big deal, and here's why. Because from a low to a high, at that point, you are breaking below your 236. Which I'm glad that I went into such extensive detail to talk about the 236 and the relationship with the 382, because again, breaking below the 236 implies directly that at least then you would go to the 382 before recovering. That 382, for people who aren't aware, is all the way down here at about $171. Zcash is worth $340 right now. That's about we've dropped 60% overall, and we're calling here for another 50% drop, more or less, basically. It's very common in powerful moves such as this to tip the 382 and bounce right off it. But outside of that, it's common enough to even wick a little bit below the 382, find support there, close above it. So if we go below 171, Zcash is not boned, okay? But likely we go down there if we go below the 236. Again, it's not a requirement. We could find support just above, but this is more common at a point of coming up rather than coming down. Does that make sense? Very likely if this bear flag that we're identifying here on the 1 hour time frame or the 4 hour time frame, if this bear flag works out the way that I think it will, the measure move in itself by default would cast Zcash then to $170. Now, I don't think that means we break out here in this bear flag and then we just drop to 170. That's not what's going to happen. It's we break out, we'll come up, we'll get a lower high, maybe even a higher high, and then we'll come back down and we'll get a lower low and then a higher low and then or lower high. All that stuff will slowly but surely work our way down there. It's not just going to be a fell swoop. If it is one fell swoop, if we do make a dramatic crash down there, great, get it done with. Rip it off like a Band-Aid. Wouldn't you rather see this drop happen from here to here? Wouldn't you rather that just happen in a day or two rather than all this time? You know what I mean? Like the sooner the better. Let's capitulate people. Let's make them capitulate. And by the way, speaking of capitulation, exactly, this all ties in again to what I was saying in the beginning. What better way to make people capitulate than to watch your coin dump, the coin that has been pumping while everything else has been dumping, and now it's the one dumping while everything else is pumping. It's the perfect trap. It's the perfect, this was your decoy, okay? All the coins that were dumping while this coin was pumping, all the coins, you look at the other chart, and again, I believe in Zcash. I believe it'll come back. Nobody actually bought Zcash for the privacy narrative. That's BS. Understand, if you thought in your head, I'm a smart person, I'm going to buy because of the privacy narrative. That makes sense. Everybody else is saying it. Aren't we just a bunch of smart people? You should take that as a moment to learn that you might be impressionable. You might be influenceable. You might fall privy to your emotions, and that the next time a coin is pumping and a narrative is promoting that pump, whatever it might be, you might be more skeptical. You might be okay with watching everybody else have the gains because you'll remember this. This will be a painful reminder. I've seen this happen, you guys. This is my third bull cycle. There are always coins that stand out for whatever reason. While the rest of the market's dumping or it's being boring, they always stand out. And then those same coins that stand out, those shining stars, they dump when the rest of the market pumps. And the reason for that is you take all these people who sell their coins at the low. You take all these people who, they look at the other chart, right? They've been moving down in this time. They've sold their coins at low prices, at lower prices, and they bought this coin at the high. Now they're doubling down on those losses. And now they're not getting any of the give back at all. And then they sell their coin at a loss here to just do it again. Please don't be that person. And that's why I opened up this video saying, it's okay. If you want to hodl Zcash, that's fine. Hodl it then. Hodl it. Because you're going to be put to the test here. Hodl it, and then you'll prevail. Do not panic sell the lows and then buy other things that are at highs, because I promise you, we're going to see altcoins rally while Zcash diminishes. If you make the right decisions, you can better prepare yourself to avoid any losses that come with that. But I don't really have anything else that I want to say. I think I've said everything I need to say. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. The RSI is very bearish. The stochastics are very bearish. You look to me like you want to progress lower soon. So I do assume starting tomorrow, we will progress lower. By the end of next week, within this next 7 days, we should see prices below $300. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens sooner than later. Hit the like button, subscribe, take care of yourselves. I'll see you on the next one. My theory fully stands. I think we're going below this low here. I think we will. I think we're in the midst of some type of harmonic pattern here. It'll take us below, and then we'll probably, this, believe it or not, is actually a bullish harmonic pattern. M patterns themselves are bearish. I don't know what type of, I want to say this is a bat, but I don't know if it is. Is it an alt bat? I don't know. It's some type of, to me, it reminds me of some type of harmonic, but I don't know what harmonic it would be. Maybe it's not harmonic at all. But if it is an M pattern, it's very common for M's to go just below where they started. You find support there. And that 171 area right here, that is just below this low. And it's right there at our 382. It's the perfect area to find support. Makes all the sense in the world to me. I wonder, what about this here? Hit that like button and subscribe. Thank you all for being here. Nothing here at 171. Nothing there. Anyways, take care. I'll see you on the next one. I hope I'm wrong. Bye-bye.